What up, world? Welcome to a new episode of BrandonJaneauShow. As you know, I am BrandonJaneau, and like always on all podcast platforms everywhere. BrandonJaneauShow. Social media platforms, Instagram threads, real BrandonJaneauShow. That's real BrandonJaneauShow. REAL, real BrandonJaneauShow on Instagram and threads. Facebook, the BrandonJaneauShow. And TikTok, BrandonJaneauShow, man. Go follow me on all those social media platforms. I would appreciate it if you did. Ah, really, where you go? It's the YouTube channel, man. BrandonJaneauShow YouTube channel. Subscribe, comment. You might want to subscribe right now, definitely this week, because I'm gonna be going crazy this week. I got a lot of shit going on. That's why I'm doing it Monday, because I got so much shit going on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for WrestleMania. So I'll be doing my wrestling life deep dive tomorrow. Or maybe later on today. I don't fucking know. I'll figure it out by the time I get off this damn podcast. um, but we'll figure it out. But it's not Tuesday, but it damn sure is. I bleed sports. So much stuff going on in the sports world right now, man. I mean, you got the WNBA draft about to take place, and I think like at 6 o'clock here in Houston on ESPN. You got of course, the NFL draft is next Thursday, which sounds insane, but it's next Thursday. It sounds insane, but it's next Thursday. So I'll be doing what should they do? Of course, obviously. What should they do? And tonight is my New Orleans Saints. So I'll be talking about what the Saints should do. um, because of next week, it'll be one last one, and I think it's the Kansas City Chiefs that picked ninth. And so I would talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, and then after the draft, uh, I will do what did they do? Uh, and that will start with the Cincinnati Bengals. So, what did they do in the draft, and what should they do moving forward? So, basically, still doing what should they do, uh, which is basically what I'm gonna do. What should they do after the draft? And that starts with the Cincinnati Bengals. That's the 10th pick. Um, and so I'll be talking about those guys after that. And yeah, moving forward. So the NFL draft is next week. The WNBA draft tonight. The WNBA has been moving crazy. NBA playoffs is officially up here. The play-in starts tomorrow night. Talk about that particularly today. Talk about the playoffs, NBA playoffs. I talk about that, and of course, uh, you know, all the various sports news going on throughout the year. But let's get into it. Let's start off, obviously, with some good old but fashion boxing. So this past Saturday, Tyson Fury returned to the ring. Um, First time since losing to Usyk in back-to-back games, back-to-back games, Lord of mercy, back-to-back fights to be undisputed champion in the heavyweight division. This is the first time that he has, lost. Um, Tyson Fury's ever lost in his entire career was to Usyk. He lost both times to Usyk. And this is the first time he's fought since then. He had played on the "I'm retired" conversation. After those losses, he said he was retired, and then he came back, and then he fights, and Saturday happens. But it's after what happened Saturday, after the fight Saturday, which I actually spoke about last week on here, which was obviously now the conversation will shift. And the shifting of the conversation is, well, who does Anthony Joshua fight next? And I said this last week when Deontay Wilder won. And we all know Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury had a trilogy. Um, a trilogy. Uh, and now the conversation becomes, what should Anthony Joshua do? Anthony Joshua, who is uh, basically Anthony Joshua, who's basically now uh, the popular fighter of this situation, um, gets to pick who he wants to fight. And now that Saturday has happened, Tyson Fury has won. Deontay Wilder won last Saturday. the conversation officially becomes, then who does Anthony Joshua fight next? Because clearly those two guys want to fight Anthony Joshua. But after the fight, Tyson Fury, of course, said, I want to fight Anthony Joshua. He literally looked at him and said, I want to fight you, make it happen. And Anthony Joshua was like, well, you know, you don't really want to fight me. You want, you just saying that. But if you do, man, get the terms and conditions, and we'll figure this out. I'm the boss. I'm the guy. I make up the decisions, what I want to do. Last week, I literally said, Tyson Fury won Saturday, which he did. I said, if I was Anthony Joshua, I would fight Deontay Wilder. I would fight Deontay Wilder. People didn't understand why I said that. People might not understand why I said that. But let me go all the way back to a decade ago, close to almost 7, 8 years ago. The reason why we had the trilogy, and I said this last week, the reason why we had the trilogy between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder is because Anthony Joshua basically chose not to fight Deontay Wilder. He basically chose not to fight Deontay Wilder. He had a chance to fight Deontay Wilder, unify the World Heavyweight Championships. I think he had like 3 belts. Deontay Wilder had the other one. And he chose not to fight Deontay Wilder. Basically, just said, nah, I'm good. Didn't want to come. He did not want to come to the United States. He didn't want to come to the U.S. People forget that. He did not want to come to the U.S. There was a lot of conversation on what he wanted. It was a lot of conversation on, because at the time, both of them was undefeated. And there was a lot of conversation on who's the A side of the fight, who's the B side. Basically, when the money got involved, and okay, it's a 50-50 split, 50-50 perch, Anthony Joshua was like, I'm a bigger star than him. I got both of the belts. Why would I come to America and fight Deontay Wilder, basically? Deontay Wilder basically was just like, I come to the UK and fight you. Anthony Joshua did everything in his power to not fight Deontay Wilder. Everything in his power. So Deontay Wilder said, fuck it. I just fight Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, at the time, was coming off of a drug addiction. He was 100-something pounds heavier, above the heavyweight limit. I think he was like 350-something pounds. He's a big fucking dude. He's 250 now, 280 now. But he was like 380, 400 at the time. He gets all the way back down to a boxing weight. He goes and fights Deontay Wilder the first fight, an incredible first fight. Second fight, everybody's like, oh man, anticipating the second fight. And Tyson Fury beats the shit out of Deontay Wilder. The third fight happens. It's better. But Tyson Fury still beats the living shit out of Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder, for a good stretch of time since those 3 fights, particularly those last 2 fights, have been trying to find himself. And he has not been that fighter that we used to see. He hasn't been that guy. He relies too heavily on his right hook, that right hand, that power hand, 98%, like I said last week about Deontay Wilder back in the day, 98% knockout ratio. When he punched you with that right, it was a good night. See you later. And now it's like when you watch him fight, it's like he has no footwork. He has no jab. It would be an easier fight for Anthony Joshua to fight Deontay Wilder now, compared to 8 years ago when they were supposed to fucking fight, and he basically backed the fuck out of it. Now, people that's going to sit here and hear me say this, and I'm going to clip it and I'm going to post it on social media, people are going to sit here and say, oh, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Oh, Anthony Joshua is the guy. Listen, you new weather fans that started jumping on his bandwagon because he knocked out Jake Paul. I truly, truly, truly love the fact that he beat the shit out of Jake Paul too. But what you gonna stop trying to act like and stop trying to do, like a lot of you motherfuckers do nowadays, is because you saw one good thing from him it just negates all of the fuck shit he did. Anthony Joshua did not want to fight Deontay Wilder. And then when Tyson Fury actually beat him and took the belts from him, he still didn't want to fucking fight Tyson Fury. This is a fight that was also supposed to fucking happen. When Tyson Fury first beat Deontay Wilder in the second fight, it was supposed to be Anthony Joshua and Tyson fucking Fury. And he backed out of it. And you know what he did? He fought Andy Ruiz. And he got his ass whooped in Madison Square Garden. He even came to the United States, finally came to the United States, and got his ass whooped. And then when he got his rematch, what did he do? He put it right in the UK. Why? Because he could control the crowd. Andy Ruiz beats him. He gets his rematch. He beats him. Again, time to fight Tyson Fury again. Tyson Fury takes the third fight with Deontay Wilder. He beats him. Done. Now it's time to fight Deontay. Now it's finally time to fight Anthony Joshua's time to fight Tyson Fury. And he opts to not do it. Excuse me. What does he do? He basically fights Usyk. Alexander Usyk, who's now the undisputed heavyweight champion now. You know why he's the undisputed heavyweight champion now? Because he beat Anthony Joshua. Not once, but twice. And the reason why Anthony Joshua took the fight against Usyk was to avoid Tyson Fury. And Usyk was coming up as a cruiserweight. And he thought he could beat him. And clearly he couldn't, because he got his ass beat. Not once, but twice. And ever since then, Anthony Joshua has been trying to avoid those fights. See, this is why I said when people try to now be fans of people, you gotta know the history. You can't just jump in and then tell everybody, oh, Anthony Joshua about that shit. Oh, Anthony Joshua beat all these boxers. Anthony Joshua avoided fighting these dudes for 8 fucking years. He basically backed the fuck out of fights for 8 fucking years. He knew he had no chin. He knew Tyson Fury was a better boxer than him. He knew Tyson Fury would sit on him and weigh on him and put his ass on the ropes and beat the shit out of him. He knew it. He knew Deontay Wilder would punch the living shit out of him, and he had no chin and he couldn't take the punch. He knew it. So now that we're sitting here having this conversation again about Anthony Joshua fighting one of these dudes, I see a lot of discourse sitting there trying to tell everybody, Anthony Joshua is going to kick their ass. He will beat probably Deontay Wilder. He can beat Deontay Wilder. I definitely believe he could beat Deontay Wilder. I definitely believe that shit. But I do not believe that if him and Tyson Fury get in the ring, he can really beat Tyson Fury. I don't think he can beat Tyson Fury, which sounds insane because I don't think Tyson Fury has a chin at all nowadays. His head movement ain't what it used to be. But if he fought like he fights Saturday, like he did in Netflix Saturday, if he fights the same way he did Saturday, I think he would beat the shit out of Anthony Joshua. And I think he will always beat the shit out of Anthony Joshua. I think Anthony Joshua is a good boxer, but I think when people have this conversation about him, I don't think people have a true understanding why so many people aren't really, when it comes to the boxing world in the sense of real boxing fans, there's a reason why we don't give Canelo Alvarez the same conversation as we give a Floyd or a Terrence Crawford, or and it's the same thing with Anthony Joshua. I feel like a lot of people want to give him more praise than what the fuck he's really done. If you actually look at his last 4 fights he's physically had, he's lost to Daniel Dubois. He got fucking knocked out in that fight. Daniel Dubois. He lost to Daniel Dubois. He lost to Usyk. The only 2 wins he's had in a professional boxing since is Jake Paul and Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou is a former UFC fighter. Jake Paul's a fucking YouTuber. So when people had this conversation about, oh man, Anthony Joshua beat their ass. Anthony Joshua is not for a actual legit boxer. And the last time he did, he got his ass KO'd by him. And it wasn't even fucking generally close. Like Daniel Dubois was tagging that ass. And it still shows that Anthony Joshua still has no fucking chin. Boy, Bradley got head movement. And like I've said numerous times, as a heavyweight, a lot of these fucking dudes don't move their head like they used to. Tyson Fury, you're seeing Tyson Fury get caught a lot in those fights now. This is why I say the ball is in Anthony Joshua's court because he's the popular one right now. He's the more popular one. He's got the A side. Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, yes, even though they're coming off of wins, they're also coming off of very noticeable losses. And at the end of the day, as good as they have been in the past, if you're talking about now, Anthony Joshua, I think, is a little bit younger than both of them. I think Anthony Joshua is like 38. Deontay Wilder's 40, 41. Tyson Fury is like 42, 43. So 41, 43, 40, 41 or 42. So Anthony Joshua's got the age on his side, but he always had the age on his side. That's not the problem. The problem is he just didn't want to fight them dudes. And now that he's sitting there talking about something like he's the boss, like he's big man on the campus, I'm not gonna let y'all try to now use this as like Anthony Joshua's been always that guy. No, the fuck he hasn't. He's always ducked them fucking dudes. He ducked them like a motherfucker. He ducked them boys for 8 fucking years and basically tried to act like he had better fights on the horizon. He literally chose. He said, "I never come to the United States." As soon as Deontay Wilder fucking lost and finally got his ass whooped, where the fuck was he? Madison Square Garden, defending his titles. But when Deontay Wilder wanted to fight you, you didn't want to fight the fucking man. I don't understand that. Tyson Fury won the belts. Tyson Fury's like, "Hey man, I want to fight Anthony Joshua. Let's do this. I want to unify these titles." And what happened? He ducked the fuck out. Took the fight with Usyk. Why did you take the fight with Usyk? Because he thought it'd be easier. And found out that it wasn't easier. Usyk beat the shit out of him. Usyk beat the shit out of him. Not once, but twice. Took his belts. And then fought Tyson Fury. And then took his belt. Usyk is still undefeated. Sitting with the heavyweight championships. Chilling. So when I hear people try to make this Anthony Joshua discourse on social media, I see a lot of people now being like, "Yeah, Anthony Joshua, tell him the truth. Yeah, you whoop his ass." These new weather fans, you wasn't even there when you saw this. When this dude was actually at his height, and he was undefeated, and he was that guy, he basically backed the fuck out of fights. That's kind of why I don't look at Anthony Joshua, because it's the same thing I feel like I said about Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez had a bunch of fucking chances to fight the guy, the top guy in his division, and he basically backed the fuck out the fight. David Benavidez sat there and was obviously the number one contender for the titles, and he chose to basically back the fuck out the fights until somebody beat David Benavidez, and it never happened. And it's the same way with Anthony fucking Joshua. Can he beat Deontay Wilder? Yes. Deontay Wilder has no footwork. He barely throws a jab. All he does is tries to set up for that fucking hook, that fucking right hand, and if he doesn't land it, he's a fucking sitting duck. But Tyson Fury, if he fights like he did Saturday against Anthony Joshua get his ass whooped, and it's not even close. Anthony Joshua will not be able to beat Tyson Fury. Could he? And that could happen. It's boxing. But if I had to put my money on something, Tyson Fury beats the shit out of Anthony Joshua. Beat the shit out of him. Anthony Joshua, to y'all that really never watched him really box before, yeah, he's a boxer. He's a really great boxer. But going up against an actual genuine fucking boxer like a Tyson Fury, he will get fucking killed. And he knew that for a very long fucking time. That's why he chose to never fucking fight him. But I'm looking forward to the fights. Whichever one happens, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I think he takes Deontay Wilder first. I don't think he's fighting Tyson Fury at all. I think he fights Deontay Wilder because he feels like that's the easier fight right now. That's the way easier fight. Like I said, Deontay Wilder has no footwork. he doesn't throw a jab anymore, and he tries to set up the right hand, and you can literally see him trying to throw the right hand, so you can counter it. As much as Deontay Wilder also has shown that he can get the fuck out the way of punches. So that's a perfect fucking matchup for Anthony Joshua. It's a perfect fucking matchup for Anthony Joshua. WNBA. Like I said, the women WNBA draft is tonight. They have been moving players left and right, doing free agency. WNBA free agency is going nuts right now. Like I said a couple of weeks ago when this was official, that these women are now getting $1 million for a max. I am very happy. I hope it moves up. I hope the salary cap moves up so these women can get way more than just $1 million for the max deal. That's insane. Um, but despite all that, man, they are moving some players. Some players are getting moved. Some players are getting uh, signed and gone, get dealt, and all this other stuff. One player particularly that has gotten dealt, and I didn't get a chance to talk about it last week. I think it happened either before I did the show last week or maybe after. I don't remember. But Asia Reese, the Chicago Sky, she is officially, no longer a Chicago Sky. She is Atlanta Dream. She got traded to Atlanta last week for 2 number ones. I see a lot of discourse on this. Some people like, good. I'm happy for her. She got out of the city. She got out of that situation. They clearly didn't want to use her the proper way. Asia Reese also kind of like signed her death certificate basically in Chicago when she criticized the team, the front office, basically saying, I'm sick of this shit. I don't want to lose. I'm not a loser. That's not what the fuck I do. You got to realize Reese came from a winning program in LSU. She got drafted to the Chicago Sky to try to make that team better. You fired her head coach last year, like mid fucking season, and then when they were about to try to make a run, by the way, and you fired her head coach, and then you told her basically, and then she goes out on her own and cuts and says, "Hey, I don't do this shit. I don't lose. I don't like this shit. I don't want to be here. You just fired my fucking head coach who wanted me here and was putting me in good positions to win." And then the Chicago Sky saw that, heard that, and was like, "Okay, we're gonna suspend you. Why? Detriment to the team's success or some shit like that in the press release." She was never gonna go back to Chicago. That was never gonna happen. The Sky was basically done with her. She was basically done with the Sky. I'm happy that she's going to an Atlanta team that has somewhat of a team that feels like they got something in Atlanta. Um, and to be a part of that franchise is going to be fun to see her succeed in that franchise. I'm looking forward to seeing how she's going to look in that franchise. Um, but Chicago Sky getting started to make moves, a lot of moves, and you start to sit there and say, well, if that's what the fuck she was asking you to do just last year, why would you just move her now? And now you look like, oh yeah, we can now do these moves. It's like, bro, you could have just said she was right and of course, and here's the crazy part. I never thought Andrew Reese and Camilla was gonna work in Chicago together. They literally do the same shit. I didn't expect them to stay the same. They do the same shit. Now, if one of them can move out and do a stretch, be a stretch 4 or 5, then okay. But they basically do the same shit. So you couldn't have both of them on the team and starting at the same time. So I do actually think this is going to be a good move for both of them because one, Camilla could go out there and just handle her business and be the you know driving force between that position of center and power forward for Chicago. And then on top of that, the moves they have made, I like the moves that they have made. I like the moves. Um, and for Angel Reese, she could go and do what she needs to do and basically go and be the star that she's always wanted to be, man. And I think in Atlanta is going to fit. And I think what she is going to go do, this is a young lady that, despite what people want to fucking hear, averaged a double-double last year. Like she had a streak of double doubles last year. Like, and so when she played, like she had a streak of double doubles last year. So it's not surprising that Asia Reese is going to probably go somewhere and be a dominant fucking force. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Um, but yeah, man, I'm looking forward to seeing what she's gonna do moving forward. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, looking forward to this. Looking forward. Um, NBA. Fuck into the play-in. Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers last night was technically it was a mutual parting of both parties, parting ways of both parties. Yes, Doc Rivers is no longer the Milwaukee Bucks head coach. It is officially over. Doc Rivers is no longer the Milwaukee Bucks head coach. How how should we feel about that? How do you feel about that? Right? If you would have fired him 2 seasons ago, you probably could have kept Giannis. You fired him last year, probably could have kept Giannis. The longer they took to get rid of Doc Rivers, the worse it got, and it made Giannis look at the franchise and say, I don't want to fucking be here. Doc Rivers replaced the head coach that was winning and Archie Griffin. He was winning. The Bucks were winning. They were successful. And yet they wanted to quote unquote upgrade the head coach position. They went and got Doc Rivers mid fucking season and thought that was gonna help the team moving forward. And it fucking didn't. You see, the problem that I have is that Doc Rivers, I've said this numerous times, gets a pass for some apparent fucking reason. I don't know why. Doc Rivers is not a great head coach. He's not. I think we got to stop trying to act like he is. He's not. He's not a great head coach. There's no way in hell you blow as many 3-1 leads in the playoffs when you've had the better fucking team. You've had the better team. And you've blown 3-1 fucking leads in the playoffs with the better team. Because if you didn't have the better team, how the fuck did you go get up 3-1 on the other team? Doc Rivers, I think, has been in the NBA for too long, coaching when he's not done shit to be in the modern day coaching cycle. He's done nothing to be in the modern day coaching cycle. He's done nothing to be a modern day coach. I don't understand this shit. Him getting fired, released, whatever the fuck they want to call it, mutually parting ways, whatever the fuck you want to call it. The Bucks could have saved their franchise 2 fucking seasons ago. They could have saved their franchise 2 seasons ago. If they really wanted to keep Giannis, they probably should have fired Doc Rivers way earlier than what the fuck they did. Now you want to clean house. Nah. It don't work like that, bro. You basically killed your relationship with Giannis because you kept a head coach. And I'm not going to sit here and say that Doc Rivers is the reason for why Giannis won title. No. I think there's a lot of shit going on behind the scenes that we don't get to see and that we have heard. But I do not believe that people give Doc – I think people give Doc Rivers a little bit too much fucking credit for some shit he never did. Anyone could have won with that Boston Celtics team. I truly fucking believe that. I think anybody could have won with that Boston Celtics fucking team. I know people that sit there and act like they did. Kevin Garnett, who was starving to get a championship. Paul Pierce, who at the time wasn't really considered one of the top 15 best players in the league. But the boy can play. Ray Allen, one of the greatest sharpshooters of all time, who was coming out of another bad situation where the team itself just quit on him. Seattle at the time just stopped being a good fucking team. They just decided to just give the fuck up. And on top of that, they were about to draft Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant. I was about to say Kevin Garnett, but they're about to draft Kevin Durant. So they needed to move Ray Allen out so they could draft Kevin Durant. Said two Kevins there. Kevin Durant, who got drafted the next fucking year. Matter of fact, I think Kevin Durant got drafted that fucking year, 2007. No, he got drafted that year, 2008, 2007, 2008. Yeah, Kevin Durant got drafted like in 2008, 2007, 2008. I think they played 1 year. I don't fucking remember. But when he got moved, it opened the game up for Kevin Durant to take over Seattle. The fact that you won one fucking championship with that team, and not to mention a young, up and coming, top tier, one of the best point guards in the league at the time, and Rajon Rondo. Rajon Rondo, who took off after they won the championship. One of the best. Bro, this man was having triple fucking doubles. Triple doubles. What y'all saw from Russ, Rajon Rondo was on pace to fucking do. I don't think people understand that. Rajon Rondo had a streak of triple doubles that made you just question shit. Like you were just sitting there like, this motherfucker is beyond great. Like this is insane. Like the way this man plays is fucking insane. You had a young Rajon Rondo who was coming into his own. You had a young Kendrick Perkins. Wasn't a great center. He wasn't a great center, but he was decent enough. Had a young Kendrick Perkins. Wasn't a great center, but he was decent enough to fit what you wanted to do. Then you also had a pretty young and up and coming bench there with Big Baby Glenn Davis. Tony Allen. People forget Tony Allen was there. They had a lot of good team. That Boston Celtics team was fucking great. And instead, what the fuck did you do? You pissed away. You pissed it away. You flat out pissed away that opportunity. You flat out pissed away that Boston Celtics team. For people that sit there and say, well, if it wasn't for LeBron, that Boston Celtics would have won more champions. Shut the fuck up. Because of that Boston Celtics team, that is why LeBron went to Miami. Because he couldn't beat them. Boston had a chance to get back to the NBA Finals in 2009. And you know what the fuck happened? They lost. Not to LeBron. Lost to Orlando. Lost to Orlando. In the Eastern Conference Finals. So you let Dwight Howard beat you. Rashad Lewis, Jameer Nelson, you let them beat you. There were years where Kevin Garnett got hurt. And the Hawks beat them. So when I hear people try to sit there and say Doc Rivers, is a great head coach, I'm like, what the fuck have y'all watched that tells you? Then he gets traded. People forget he got traded to the Clippers. Boston had his rights, and they traded him to the Clippers. He gets another chance at redemption with a younger team, a young Blake Griffin, a young DeAndre Jordan. Chris Paul gets moved from the Pelicans, from the Hornets at the time, to the Clippers because the NBA owned the New Orleans Hornets, and they vetoed the trade that would have sent Chris Paul to LA just by the Lakers. They vetoed that, and David Stern says, "Okay, I will trade him to LA, but he's going to the Clippers." You get Doc Rivers a year after Chris Paul gets there, and then they finally start to win games. They turn into a great team. And they could never get over the fucking hump. And three things that people will always remember about that Clippers team, as great as they were, particularly that inception of the Clippers team. You pissed away a 3-1 lead to the Houston Rockets, who had a young James Harden who was starting to kind of come into his own, a Dwight Howard, and then a bunch of fucking role players. And you pissed away a lead when you had Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, JJ Redick, and Matt Barnes, and an incredible bench. And you pissed away that lead. And then they give you another chance with the Clippers. You get another shot. And they give you Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and say, figure it the fuck out. You got two of the best players right now in the game. Go get it. And what did you do? You blew a 3-1 fucking lead to a Denver team that wasn't ready yet. 2 years later, they finally win a championship. 3 years later, they win a championship. People can literally pinpoint when the Denver Nuggets realized that they had something with Jamal Murray and Nikola the Joker by watching that fucking game. That series particularly. You piss it away. So when people try to tell me Doc Rivers is a great head coach, they gave you another shot with the Brooklyn Nets, and you fell there. They gave you another shot. You go to Philly, and you have the same fucking issues. You blow a fucking lead. Your players at the time don't even want to fucking be around you. When Austin Rivers got on ESPN and started talking about his dad, and like, everybody just don't understand. My dad is great. My dad is, bro. Your dad has had some great fucking basketball teams. Great basketball teams. It has one championship to show for it. This man's had prime, somewhat prime Joel Embiid. A two-time champion in Kawhi Leonard. Giannis, Dame Lillard, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Rajon Rondo, Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, JJ Redick, Matt Barnes, Tracy McGrady, Grant Hill. All those great players. Some of them in their primes. He has one championship to show for his entire career. Can we start with Doc Rivers? Can we stop? Can we stop acting like Doc Rivers is a great coach? Because he's not. This should be his last fucking coaching stop ever. I don't want to hear Doc Rivers conversation. Oh, man, he might get a chance to coach the LA Lakers in a couple of years. Oh, man, he might get a chance to coach the Memphis Grizzlies in a couple. I don't want to hear that shit. This is over. Let Doc Rivers sit his ass at home It's over. It's done. Let's put it to bed. Are we done? All right. NBA playoffs. NBA playoffs. Some of the series are set. Some of the series are set. For the East. For the East. The New York Knicks will come in at third seed. New York Knicks. Coming in at the third seed. Sixth seed. Sixth seed is, I want to say, the Chicago Bulls? Told y'all. Every time I gotta mention the Bulls, I'm gonna just be like, no, sixth seed is Toronto. I think it is. Yeah, sixth seed is Toronto. So sixth seed is Toronto. Yeah, sixth seed is the Toronto Raptors. I think. Yeah, and the 4th and 5th seed. No, is it the Hawks? No, maybe Toronto. Toronto won last night, so it might be Toronto. Toronto's the fifth. Yeah, Toronto's the sixth seed. Toronto's the sixth seed. It's gonna be the Knicks versus Toronto, and Atlanta will be playing against Cleveland. 4 or 5. The 1-2. Detroit is 1. Boston is 2. Uh, they will await the 7-8 matchup. 7-8 is the Magic and the Philadelphia 76ers. You think I'm making that shit up? I am not. You think I'm making that shit up? I am not. The Magic and the 76ers are playing for the 7-8. Charlotte in the Heat. The Hornets in the Heat are playing for 9-10. Winner of that game will go meet the loser of the 7-8 matchup between the Magic and the 76ers to see who gets the 8 seed, who plays against Detroit. That is the playoffs. In the East, who do I think wins 7-8? I like Philly, but if Joel Embiid's not playing, that's gonna be a hard game for them. Joel Embiid, as much as Joel Embiid is in and out a lot in his career, Joel Embiid is still a force down under that you cannot stop. When he is on, he is fucking on. And with Tyrese Maxey, and VJ Edgecombe both playing like they've been playing this whole season, if they got Joel Embiid too, I think it's gonna be a very hard fucking game for the Magic. But if Joel Embiid's not playing, Paulo Banchero gets a chance to free the space up, do what he wants to do, and on top of that, you think about how the Magic can space you out and hit jumpers in threes. Jalen Suggs has kind of come into his own. That's gonna be an interesting matchup to see how he's gonna guard Tyrese Maxey in this game. It's one game. Let's see. If they win, they move to the 2 and they play against the Boston Celtics. Now, last night, if you watched the Magic and the Celtics play last night, that was a very hard-fought game. But Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum, I want to say Derek White. It was a lot of people that didn't play for Boston, and Boston still beat them. So it will be an interesting matchup. Let's just say it like that. The loser of that 7-8 matchup will go against the Hornets or the Heat. Hornets or the Heat. I don't know who wins this game. I'm gonna be honest. I have no clue. Since it's in Charlotte, I'm probably gonna go with Charlotte. I think LaMelo Ball Brandon Miller. I think that Charlotte team has grown in leaps and bounds in the last couple of months. And ever since I think like Bam got that 83, I don't know. Miami just felt like a little bit of a trepidation team. I think they need Bam to do more than he probably will have to do. I think Bam is gonna do more in this game than I think he's ready to fucking probably do. He's gonna have to be the driving force behind the Miami Heat in this game. Um, and that's where the conversation really kicks in. Can Bam be that driving force for the Miami Heat? I think Tyler Hero could get off and have his usual Tyler Hero game, but with LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, those types of guys, I think Charlotte will easily. Man, I think Charlotte will easily have a really good game. I think Charlotte has a really good situation. If Charlotte wins this game, oh shit. Whoever wins out of Philly Magic, that's going to be a hard fucking game because Charlotte has something that a lot of these other teams don't have, and that's momentum. That's momentum like a motherfucker. Charlotte has momentum like a son of a bitch, and that's a scary ass start. That Charlotte has momentum like that. So yeah, what's the conference? This is a little bit easier to decide. um, 3-6 matchup. It is the Nuggets going up against the Timberwolves. This is going to be an interesting fucking game. That's an interesting series. I don't think people understand how actually generally interesting that series really fucking is. If Anthony Edwards is healthy, if Anthony Edwards is healthy, the Minnesota Timberwolves will have a bit of a. If Anthony Edwards is healthy, I give the Timberwolves a lot of. I give the Timberwolves a lot of grace in that game in that series. If Anthony Edwards is healthy, not saying the Joker's not great, but the Joker has shown in the playoff series since he won the championship that you can stop him in the postseason. Like I've said numerous times about the Joker, as great as the Joker is, he's not a great defender. Now I'm not sitting there saying Rudy Gobert is going to go out there and put up 30 and 20. Fuck no. But what the Denver Nuggets can do to Minnesota is what I thought a lot of people thought the Lakers would do to them last year, which was spread them out and hit threes and make Rudy Gobert come out and have to do more. The problem with the Joker being your shooter too is that he's got to hit the shots, and if he doesn't hit the shots, you're giving Anthony Edwards a chance to then get the ball, run up the court, and your defense is not set, and he can go get you. So yeah, I'm looking at this situation and I'm saying to myself, Minnesota can beat Denver. Don't get it twisted. But we shall see how that's actually going to look. Now, the 4-5 matchup, it is the Lakers versus the Rockets. Now, Lakers are getting some, depending on how you look at it, either some really good news or some really fuck news. Luka Doncic is reportedly supposed to be coming back to the Lakers to do. Luka Doncic is supposed to be coming back to the Lakers this weekend. He's getting evaluated before the playoffs start after his hamstring. It's a grade 2 hamstring. He went to Europe to get tested and see what's going on with him, and he should be back getting evaluated this week before the playoffs start. Austin Reeves is also getting evaluated with his shoulder. Let's see if he can play. All of this sounds very sweet and very nice and very adorable to a lot of the Lakers fans that are very out here saying, "Oh man, the Lakers are gonna." Told you the Lakers are gonna figure it out. So you want a guy that's dealing with a hamstring injury and a guy that's dealing with a shoulder injury to come back and play right now because you think you might get out the first round. I think people look at this series. I get it, Kevin Durant. People are mainly like Houston just got Kevin Durant, and they're gonna. I don't think people understand. Shangoon did not play in the last two games that the Lakers played the Rockets. Not saying Alfaron Shangoon is some great fucking center. Fuck no. Fuck no. I'm not saying he's a great defensive center. Fuck no. He's not the dream. He's not Hakeem Olajuwon. He's not that type of guy. He's not. What I will say, what I will say is that when you look at this offensive situation, look at this offensive situation. This feels, this series feels more like the Timberwolves and Lakers from last year. And I don't think people are ready to have that conversation. I get it because a lot of people are sitting there saying, "Oh man, you just saying whatever the fuck you want to say on your." No, I really do believe that. I truly believe that this series is way more. I truly believe people are not really giving it its proper respect and context. Everybody's so ready to sit there and just say Anthony Davis. I mean Kevin Durant. I think Kevin Durant is a great, great, great player. He will be one of the greatest players of all time when it's all said and done. But I don't think people really give Houston its proper context. I feel like a lot of people are sitting there saying, "Oh, Houston, they're just gonna, they, they're gonna falter at some point. They're gonna just falter. They're gonna fall." And I don't believe that shit. I think people don't understand. Ime Udoka is a really great head coach. Ime Udoka is a very good head coach. And last year, he would have made really big moves last year if they just had a score to take the game over. And if Kevin Durant is healthy and can handle that situation, then I have a very bad feeling about this series. We're gonna find out what the Rockets and the Lakers are in game fucking one. Because game one is gonna be the tell all of this series. I don't think people understand because if the Lakers kind of be competitive and this is a competitive game and it's a blowout for the Lakers, then yeah, Lakers might whoop that ass. But if the Rockets, and I keep hearing, and of course ESPN doing their dumbass due diligence, sitting there trying to act like, "Oh man, Lakers are just gonna run through the Rockets." The Rockets have younger, quicker, athletic wings. I've said this numerous times. Thompson and Kevin Durant, Reed Shepard. I think the Rockets have way more people that can get off and have bigger games that people are not even expecting. Like, I don't think people understand. Jabari Smith Jr. could go off and have a 30-point game, and people just sitting there like, how the fuck did that happen? Because they didn't have nobody to guard him because nobody was ready to guard him. Shangoon can have a Rudy Gobert game one of these games. He can have a Rudy Gobert game where he just has 30 fucking points, 20 some rebounds, and he's just sitting there like, how the fuck did that just happen? Because people don't really understand that basketball is not like what people want to sit here and pretend it is. I get it. You want to give the Lakers all this credit and all this respect and kiss their ass and tell them that they're great because NBA media is fucking stupid, just like NFL media. It's fucking stupid. The facts are the Lakers are going up against a team with a better head coach. As much as people don't want to hear this, a better structure. Kevin Durant, yes, is a truly great scorer. But I don't think people understand how defensively savvy the wings are. I get it. When you had Luka and Austin Reeves and they were healthy, yeah, you can run up the score on these dudes. You can beat their ass. But that's not what the case is. The situation is you're expecting the Lakers to just beat the shit out the Rockets. in a 7-game series where you may or may not get Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic back. And you're asking LeBron James to basically turn it on and go out there and put up damn near 40 fucking points. Basically a triple-double every fucking game to win these 4 games. And you're asking people that have never been asked to be in these positions. See, this is how stupid. When I was hearing ESPN talk about this shit, I'm like, y'all sitting there acting like the Lakers got fucking playoff experienced players. Outside of LeBron and DeAndre Ayton, none of these fucking dudes have been in the playoffs like that. Bronny's never been in the fucking playoffs. None of these dudes have been in the playoffs, but y'all sat there on ESPN this morning and was trying to talk down on the Rockets. I'm like, bitch, did you not understand that the Rockets last year was the fucking 2 seed in the West? And this year, they're the 5? And you're sitting there trying to talk down on these fucking dudes? With Kevin Durant? I fucking guess, dude. I fucking guess, dude. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck you want me to tell you, bro. I don't know what the fuck you want me to tell you. I think people are stupid. ESPN particularly, NBA media is fucking dumb because you're sitting there trying to tell everybody, oh man, the Lakers are just gonna walk through the Rockets without Luka and Austin. And even if they had Luka and Austin, they get their ass beat. So it's I don't understand the discourse because the way you hear people talk, you act like JJ Redick has been in high pressure playoff situations as a head coach. You act like the Lakers players, if Luka and Austin Reeves don't come back, you act like the Lakers have been their players have been in playoff situations before. The way these fucking dudes talked on SportsCenter this morning, I'm sitting there listening to these fucking dudes. I'm like, bro, y'all are talking like the Lakers just have all the experience. Like the Lakers just been through so many things. So LeBron's been through so many things. These fucking players ain't been through shit. They ain't been through a motherfucking attack. They ain't been through shit. And yet you sit there and try to tell people, oh man, the Lakers are just gonna would JJ Redick as a head coach over Ime Udoka? I fucking guess. I fucking guess. I fucking guess, dude. That's the 4-5 matchup. The play-in for the West 7-8 is I want to say Clippers and Warriors. That's the 7-8 matchup. For Clippers Warriors 7-8 matchup, and then the Suns and Trailblazers are the 9-10. Trailblazers, Scoot Henderson coming into his own. The kid from UConn, the center that they drafted from UConn, had a pretty good season. Yeah. What do I expect? The Warriors, oh shit. You got Steph Curry back. That's great. I'm happy for you. Can you beat the Clippers? I think you can. I do believe they can beat the Clippers. Will they beat the Clippers? No, that's a whole other conversation. That's a whole other conversation. Same thing with the Trailblazers and the Suns. If you ask me right now, Trailblazers, Suns, I think the Trailblazers are a little bit more experienced. No, I would say experienced. That's a lie. Trailblazers have a little bit more youth on their side. I love Devin Booker, but man, you're asking the Suns to do more than probably what they can do at this moment in the playoff situation. But when you got a Devin Booker, anything is possible. He can go off of 50 and give you a 50. But the Trailblazers can definitely shut that shit down. And yeah, I don't know who's gonna win that. But if the Trailblazers win, especially being at home with that high pressure situation, the youth, the athleticism of the Trailblazers will probably get the Phoenix Suns. Now don't get it twisted. Devin Booker, Jalen Green, the rookie they drafted, they can do some damage. But again, you're asking the Phoenix Suns to go on the road in a high pressure situation and get a game. That's a little tougher than people want to admit. That's a little tougher than people admit. What should they do? NFL. NFL draft, like I said, is next Thursday. Next Thursday is the NFL draft. Uh, Looking forward to that. Don't know what's gonna happen, but tonight I got my Saints on the clock. New Orleans. Last year, at the end of the year, made some motherfucking noise, now didn't we? You see, I was the only person, possibly, I was the only person that was flat out saying, I don't think Tyler Shuck is as bad as people think. I think because of the hype and the overwhelming fan base of Shador made people overly think this shit through. They overthought it. Tyler Shuck, who the fuck is that? This the guy that they were the bad pads, he got the weird arm and all that other shit. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. I was the only person last year that literally drafted Tyler Shuck to the Colts in the first fucking round. Like, the kid is not as bad as people think. I'm like, the kid is not as bad as people think. He's actually more pro ready than people think. So they put him in this situation. They let him play. They put him in a situation. They start him, and the Saints then go on a pretty good streak, have a good ending of their season. And this is why I never ever got too over the top about the New Orleans Saints last year. I love the Saints. I love the situation I was in. And I've always said that we shall see how this team looks. I literally said I never questioned the Saints offense. I thought the Saints offense would be good, be okay, handle their business. My question was always about the Saints defense. And I gotta be honest, Brandon Staley surprised the shit out of me. I'm gonna be a honey. I'm gonna keep it a bean. Brandon Staley surprised the shit out of me. Defensively, surprised the shit out of me. Gotta give him his credit. Proud of Brandon Staley. He did a great job. Can he do it again? We shall see. But everybody that was sitting there and talking down, and I remember even me and my own brother having a conversation after the draft, which I don't know. We probably do another one like that. Yeah, probably do another draft, show for Bleed Black and Gold, because I definitely am doing one. But I don't know if me and my brother are gonna do one. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know if my brother's gonna be a part of that. I have no idea. I gotta hit him up and see. But I remember us taking offensive lineman Calvin Banks, excuse me, from Texas. And I remember my brother being like, man, I'm sick of the fucking Saints always taking these goddamn offensive linemen. These niggas always taking goddamn offensive linemen. I'm sick of this shit. And then they took him. And this man proceeds to be one of the best offensive linemen in the entire fucking NFL. As a fucking rookie. This man goes on and has an incredible rookie season. I literally said, man, I love Tyler Shuck, but you should give Calvin Banks offensive rookie of the year. I've never seen a team change the moment this goddamn dude got into the offense. As soon as he got plugged, him and Fuaga, I just hope and pray Eric McCoy can just stay healthy. Because if he can stay healthy with now the addition of David Andrews on that offensive line, I still feel like we need to draft another fucking guard, because I do not trust Cesar Ruiz for shit. If we can get that offensive line where we know it can be, that is, if Eric McCoy stays healthy, with Tyler Shuck is going to be a different fucking team. But I feel like a lot of people that sat there last year and was talking down on Tyler Shuck before you even gave this man a fucking chance is what. And I'm not gonna pretend like, let's not act like a lot of you New Orleans Saints fans wasn't talking down on Tyler Shuck either, because they didn't draft who you thought they should have drafted. Let's be 100. Now looking at this shit, would you have accepted Shador Sanders if he did what he did in Cleveland? Not what he did in New Orleans. If New Orleans, you gave him Tyler Shuck. No, if he was in New Orleans, but he had those Cleveland Browns numbers, would you be as confident as this season, coming into this season, as you are probably this year with Tyler Shuck? No, you wouldn't be. Let's just keep it at a beam. You would not be as confident with the Saints if Shedeur Sanders showed you that last year, what he did with the Browns. If he had the Browns numbers coming into this season with this Saints team, you'd be like, oh my God, what the fuck? We need to drive another quarterback. We need to start thinking about it. Again, no offense to Shedeur Sanders, but the dude was not what I kept saying, bro. Listen, I am a Shedeur fan, but I'm not a Shedeur fanboy. There is a difference. I am not a cult like following fucking dude. I do not do that shit. I am a fan of football. I am a fan of the fucking dude, but I saw him in Colorado. A lot of that shit was basically given to him to do a lot of shit. And I'm not dissing this kid. Because if I had a father like Deion Sanders, legendary Hall of Fame NFL college football player, as a father, I'd do the same shit. Don't get it twisted. I do the same shit. But at the end of the day, when I looked at Tyler Shuck, and now people are sitting there saying, damn, we were wrong about Tyler Shuck, man. That boy could play. Because y'all never was going to give him a chance until you saw it. And this is why I say all the time, I don't get overly excited about shit. Because I was personally saying Tyler Shuck should go in the first round of the draft. I picked him to the Colts. My brother Juan looked at me like I was fucking crazy. And I was like, bro, Tyler Shuck isn't as bad as people think. I get the injuries, scare the shit out of you, but the boy is probably the more pro-ready quarterback at this moment. Tyler Shuck. If we can keep him upright, the Saints will be a dominant fucking football team. Now, get into this draft. A lot of people was jumping out the window soon as the draft lottery started up. Draft lottery, Lord of mercy. Soon as the draft order came out and we saw where the Saints were going to be, and they were going to be 8th. Everybody early in the draft conversation was the Saints should take Jeremiah Love. I never in my life said the Saints should take Jeremiah Love. No. He's too much like Alvin Kamara. And people just didn't understand that. I said Jeremiah Love is too much like Alvin Kamara. If you draft Jeremiah Love, you basically are telling everybody you're either trading Alvin Kamara or you're picking Jeremiah Love to basically trade him somewhere later on. There was never a time where you can sit there and tell me you flat out believed that Alvin Kamara and Jeremiah Love could get together on that backfield and do something. Now, of course, the Saints did eventually sign Travis Etienne from the Jacksonville Jaguars to the Saints. So basically, they just took away the idea of taking Jeremiah Love. Now, basically, Travis Etienne is the same as Alvin Kamara too, which is why the conversation is Alvin Kamara. Do you think the Saints can keep both of these fucking running backs? Here's the problem. I do. But at what cost? And I think that's where the problem lies. I think the Saints signing Travis Etienne, one, kills the conversation of they need to take Jeremiah Love. That's one thing that they definitely need to get the fuck out of everybody's mind. The second thing, if you do use Travis Etienne right, you can basically save Alvin Kamara. He doesn't need to be used like he's been used in the last couple of years, because Alvin Kamara, for a good stretch of his career, was very durable. Alvin Kamara is very durable. He can handle the pressure. He can handle the hits. You watch this man's fucking workouts. The man's fucking balancing on a fucking ball. Like, this man is one of those dudes. He's fucking athletic as shit. But the last couple of years, he's been getting hit. He's been taking fucking hits, and he's been taking a pounding the last couple of years because he's had no offense. It's literally been him. And until this past season, he's been a receiver and a running back. So for now, bringing in a Travis Etienne, it kind of spares Alvin Kamara from having to deal with that shit. But there is a lot of that I do feel like Travis Etienne is kind of like Alvin Kamara, and that is true. He is like Alvin Kamara. He is. But that's not a bad thing. If you can save Alvin Kamara up until week 8, 9, 10, and then you start to use him like you use him, this offense will be one of the most dangerous fucking offenses in the NFL. I'll put money on that. Like, if you use both of them on the field at the same time with Chris Olave, good fucking luck. It's good fucking luck. Because you can't. If Chris Olave is doing the wheel route shit, oh my god, man, look here, bro. That's some scary, scary shit, and you can't defend that. You know where it's coming from. The one thing I will say about this the signing of Travis Etienne, you basically just replaced Taysom Hill. You didn't replace Alvin Kamara. You basically replaced Taysom Hill because you basically could do what you did with Taysom Hill with Travis Etienne. Hey, you get in there and you do kind of like what Taysom Hill does. Well, this conversation, a lot of people will sit here and ask the question of all questions. And the question that everybody wants to ask is, what do you do with the 8th pick then? Not taking Jeremiah Love, obviously, because you just signed Travis Etienne. So what do you do with the 8th pick? Now, I've heard some people say, man, we should go receiver. Listen. 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 I I I would love to go receiver. I would love to go receiver. I would love if the New Orleans Saints decided personally, if the New Orleans Saints personally decided to take a receiver at 8, I would not be mad. I would not be mad. Except if Ruben Bain Jr. from Miami is on the board and he's still on the board at 8, as much as I would love to take a receiver at 8, the reason why I feel like they bought in Chris Bell from Louisville, the receiver from Louisville, the reason why I feel like they brought him in is not to draft him at 8, but to draft him when we pick in the second round. If he's still there in the second round, or let's say somebody falls out the first round, like a Denzel Boston, or I don't think he will fall out the first round, but let's say Jordan Tyson, or Omar Cooper Jr. from Indiana. If one of those guys fall out the first round, pounce on him in the second one. Not even think about it. Boom, pounce on him. Now, if the kid from Texas Tech, the middle linebacker, Jacob Rodriguez, if he's there, and there's a conversation to be had on Omar Cooper Jr. feels like a first rounder, but he fell to the second round. I would take Omar Cooper Jr. I would. What Chris Olave does, he does not do. I would take a Denzel Boston. I would take that. But if it's Chris Bell and Jacob Rodriguez at that time at the second half, second round, if it's Jacob Rodriguez and Chris Bell for the second round, I'm going to take Jacob Rodriguez. I love Danny Stunsman. I love Pete Warner. But if you want to replace a Demario Davis in that defense, you need somebody that kind of has that same Demario Davis feel. And Jacob Rodriguez would fit that fucking team perfectly. What Brandon Staley wants to do, he will fit that perfectly. So that is why, for me personally, I would take Ruben Bain at 8. I get it. A lot of people are going to sit there and say, why the fuck would you not take a receiver? I get it if the Titans take Cornell Tate at 4, the pressure would be on the Saints to feel like they have to take a receiver. But I don't think you should. I think you stick to your guns. You take Ruben Bain Jr., who fits the fucking defense. You just lost Cam Jordan. Chase Young is still there. Carl Granderson is great. Brian Brzee should be healthy and back. But adding a Ruben Bain Jr., who was literally one of the most unblockable fucking defensive players last year in college, this shit shouldn't even be a conversation. It really shouldn't. It really shouldn't. I would take Ruben Bain Jr. at 8 and not even think about it. But if he is gone, which is something that can happen, Ruben Bain Jr. is gone. Let's say Giants don't take Caleb Downs or Washington don't take Jeremiah Love. Ruben Bain Jr. is gone. Cardinals take him at 3. Browns take him at 6. Then yes, you take the fucking receiver. You take the receiver. If, let's say Cornell Tate is still on the board. Malachi Lemon from USC still on the board. You take the fucking receiver. There's no hell. You can take Sonny Styles, which I wouldn't basically take. But if you take Sonny Styles at number 8, that still helps out the defense. You get your linebacker. You fit that situation. It's great. You could take Delane from LSU. I mean, we got Kool-Aid McKinstry, and you got Kool-Aid McKinstry. Fuck, what's the other dude name? Quincy Riley. So adding Delane to that secondary, it's not a bad decision. I would personally say, let's say if the cornerback situation is more of a priority in the second round, depending on what we pick in the second round, I haven't really seen the board. But depending on what we pick in the second round, if the Saints want to take Ruben Bain in 8, and you still feel like that cornerback position is still a little bit like that secondary position needs to be fixed, take the kid from San Diego State, Chris Johnson. But if I am the Saints, if I am the New Orleans Saints, if Ruben Bain's at 8, you take Ruben Bain. I'm sorry to tell y'all, I want offense all the time type of people. I get it. Tyler Shuck needs a receiver. But what you actually really need also is a fucking defensive player. And you need to fix that defense. You just lost Cam Jordan and Demario Davis. You just lost Cam Jordan and Demario Davis. You need someone to come in and immediately put them in that defense. And Ruben Bain Jr. on that defensive line with Brian Brzee, Chase Young, Carl Granderson, who else the fuck they might get in the draft? That fucking defensive line, the rotation that they like to do, that defensive line would be the scariest fucking defensive line that you would see. Ruben Bain falls to 8. You take Ruben Bain Jr. Don't overthink this. Don't listen to the people on social media. You take the best player. That is Ruben Bain Jr. And if you still want to take a receiver, figure out a way to get back in the first round. Because they're going to definitely be a team or two that might get a little bit panicky and say, you know what? We might not can fit this. We might not can. What we wanted ain't there on the board now. So let's say the Dolphins or the Dolphins or the Browns or the Cowboys who have the Dolphins or the Browns or the Chiefs who have multiple picks in the first round. Let's say one of those teams decide, you know what, man, we got what we wanted, but the person that we actually did want is not there on the board because he's gone now. Call the Dolphins, call the Chiefs, call the Jets, call their ass up, and see if you can move it. Let's see if we can get this pick. Then you get in, and depending on where you got the draft pick in the first round, take the receiver. Then you take the receiver. Done. Done. But that is all. Next week, Kansas City, you on the clock. And of course, all the other stuff that's going on in the NBA. NBA playoffs officially be here. Baseball, boxing, a lot of stuff going on. Hockey playoffs is also going to be heating up. So I'll talk about that. But until next week, man, I am Brandon Janeau. This has been I Bleed Sports. Peace.